What's happening, guys? Tommy back here at the stable, and today we're going to talk about the Collingwood pods, in specific the forwards, the Collingwood forward pods. Now we have to talk about this, just a few options. If you want to you want to get some cash, save some money in some places, and you think that you need to go down in some areas, I'm going to give you a couple of players that are predicted to start. Now I'm a massive Collingwood fan, as you know, and there's been some word and also some footage in and around the club of some changes. Now, what are those changes specifically? Dan McStay is still carrying a little niggle. He's not going to be out long term, but he's probably going to miss at least the first few rounds. So that opens a spot for a potential forward, a young forward to come in. Now, who's that young forward going to be? There's a couple of options. We're obviously going in with Buller, Membry. Those two are the locks. But then the talk at the moment is Charlie West is going to be in McStay's spot. So Charlie West is 119,000. He did play a few games last year and then picked up a little niggling injury which kept him out. But at 119, if you're just trying to get value and you want growth, these 119,000 players, they don't need that much of a score to get some growth. Like, it doesn't have to be a massive score. If they get 40, 50 points at 119,000, that's going to get them some growth, right? So you're not looking for massive scores, and if you need to try and get funds, these are the players that you could be going for. Charlie West, he's got the talent. He kicked goals for fun in the VFL, and that's what got him a chance in the AFL level, and then obviously just couldn't hold a spot due to injury. But he's tall, he's got a good mark, he's a good kicker goal, and looking like he wants to break into that side. He's going to get an option to do that. So Charlie West is there at 119,000 if you want to. Now, another one who is I'm talking bank to play is Harvey Harrison. Now, he's 126. He's a little higher. But Harvey Harrison is that small forward, sort of floating mid-type. He can get on the ball, get some tackles. He's actually got a good eye for goal too. Always pops up in the right position. So at 126,000, he's another one. He'd been out all last year with an ACL. So coming back this year, he was great in 2023 when we won the flag. Missed. He played a bit of 24 and then got his ACL, and then obviously missed all last year. So he's a gun. I would watch out for him at 126,000. You can't go wrong. And then another one, and this one is my biggest smoky, is our draftee Jai Saxena, right? Now, the thing with him is he is like a mirror image of Bobby Hill. Now, obviously not as good as Bobby Hill, we know that. But literally the style of play, the way he moves, he's that real small, explosive, quick, small forward. And Bobby Hill is not going to play for Collingwood again. It's not going to happen. Like, if people think that he's going to play for Collingwood, you are mad. He's not kicking another footy. He's taken more time off. Now the club is saying, reports are coming out that he's not going to play for at least half a year. Now, if you're not playing for half a year, you're not going to magically turn back up and be fit. Like, he's not playing again. I can guarantee that. The whole thing going on with his misses in Perth, it's enough to shake up a lot of people. Now, unless you're Lachie Neale, who doesn't give a fuck, he clearly doesn't care. He's obviously just a menace. But it's affecting Bobby Hill, and clearly, wants to be around his family, and he's taken more leave of absence, he hasn't done a preseason. He's not playing. I can see it. So we're going to generate another one. It is going to happen. And this is otherwise we wouldn't have picked him. Do you know what I mean? In the draft, we went for a particular type of player in the draft. It was midfielders that were that they're not 18, except for Prindable. Prindable's the youngest one, but we went for like 21, 22-year-olds that are sort of a little bit ready-made, bigger bodies that have a little bit more of a tank. That's sort of our style. And then we picked Jai Saxena. So, obviously they were there going, they had thoughts in their mind that they wanted to maybe get another version of Bobby Hill. Now, why we didn't trade Bobby Hill and get what we could for him, that's another question. But at 99,000, even if he doesn't play the first few rounds, you could have him on your bench at 99. Do you need an extra 10,000, 20,000 to get an elite player? If you're missing that little bit, he could be there. He could be there. And potentially now, because of that fifth spot on the bench, no more vest, players like this are an option. They are an option. I think you could be looking at these guys, even if they get a couple of touches, maybe get a score involvement, a tackle, something like that, they're going to get some points. And at 99, like I said, if it generates you 50, 60,000, even if he gets to 150,000, 160,000, and then doesn't go from there, you move him on, and then you try to get those players that are falling down. So that's another one there I would look at for Collingwood: Harrison, Saxena, and West. That is your three. You could go Buller, but Buller's going to play week in, week out. But he's 285,000. It's a little high, although he's going to be playing for Collingwood. He's going to be a lot more involved. He's pretty much our main forward now. So he's going to be getting way more looks at it. Probably, I don't think it's tit for tat if you say that he's got better options ahead of him. To give him more service of the footy, like Goulden and Heaney weren't exactly bad users of the football, you know what I mean? So I don't know, it's tit for tat, but he's going to be breaking in, being that namestay, so maybe that gives him a bit of confidence. I would imagine he's going to grow even more. But I don't know, 285,000 is an awkward point for me, so I'll probably stay away from Buller. But yeah, Harrison, Saxena, West, you could look at, and I'm not saying this is for forwards. We could potentially look at if we drag out Reedy here, just for the flex. We could look at Swadling. He is, by all accounts, he's having a very good preseason. I've seen some footage of Swadling. He's looking very, very good at 113,000 again on the bench if you want. That's another point there that you could potentially get that growth. Printable, haven't seen too much of him. He looked the goods early on, but haven't seen too much of him lately. And then obviously, this is one that we have spoken about before, but Josh Dacos, particularly given the fact that he's a defender, he's probably going to get the DDP later on, being a midfielder. But given the fact that he's a defender and he's going to be playing sole midfield now, it's always good looking for these players that are solely going to play in a different area. So, Wangani Miller is going to be playing in the midfield. Now, does that mean he's going to get more looks at the footy, more goals? Who knows? But you always want to look for those guys that are getting differences in their role. And Josh, he's going to be going with his brother. Josh is very, very good in the clearance too. If you didn't watch a few of his games last year when he does go in the middle, man, he's good at getting the clearance. So that helps in your stats. So at 525,000, if you're looking for another primo defender to save you a bit of cash, at the moment I've got Clark as that sort of like difference of that's my pod. Not a lot of people have Clark, but Dacos now, he's already at 8%, so people are starting to get onto him. But yeah, he's another one there. 525,000, I think he will be a steal. Nick's going to come down, I can guarantee it. At 628, like, Nick is on his day the best player in the competition, but he gets tagged every week. This will help. If Josh is in the middle too, that will free up Nick, no doubt about it. So flip a coin if 628,000 is a good starting point or not for Nick. But for me, I'm gonna wait, because I know when there's a good tag on Nick, he can struggle. So I'm gonna wait for that. But Josh is definitely up there. But that's not the conversation for today. Harrison, Saxena, West, 126, 99, 119. I can guarantee you all three of them are probably going to get a look at it. Maybe Jai, not so much, but definitely West. West is locked on for round one. And at least that 3 to 4 rounds before McStay comes back. So I know you get the 3-round average and stuff like that before they grow. But if he starts to bag goals, and this is the thing with West, if he starts to bag goals and then, let's say, Membry is having a tough time because he's getting older. I love Membry, but obviously they're going to probably keep Buller in there. But if West is bagging goals for fun and Membry's not, they're going to bring McStay back in and Membry might see a way out. So West, again, 119, Harrison 126. If you're looking for some difference in value and some different pods off the bench, have a look at these three. You don't have to take them. There's obviously better options, don't get me wrong, but that's what I'm looking for. So anyway, that about wraps it up, guys, and I'm going to do some more videos. The Origin is right around the corner. It's such a big game for me because the rule changes with the Origin. Like, you are going to see everything. Every little question that you have regarding rucks, regarding midfielders, anything you had, the kick in from the out of bounds, last touch out of bounds, everything that you want to see is going to be in that Origin game. So I'm so excited, not for the fact because it's Origin, for the fact that the rules are going to change. We're going to see it all because, if it doesn't affect the rucks that much, then everybody's going to go back onto the primo rucks. But if it does affect the rucks heaps and they're not getting lots of contests and not getting the hit-outs and the tackles and the disposals, then everyone's going to go for cheap rucks. And it's, yeah, I'm really excited. But we'll see. I'll definitely make a video after that one. But that about wraps it up, guys, here at the stable. And as usual, we'll see you on the next one.